Be encouraged for some this whoever's listening to me. Every setback, listen to me, is a setup. Every failure is putting you in formation, right? So remember that when you're going through something in your season or in your situation, uh, you're being prepared for something bigger and better. All right, let's go. Now, we talked about the forgotten visionary, four marriages. Now we're going to get into Taytu versus Europe and strategic divinity. Now, the chess match. Now, for those who know, I'd love to play the game of chess. I enjoy it. There's some young people at the middle school out here. They're trying to get a chess club started, and they enjoy. I enjoy watching them play, and I will play with them and teach them a little bit. But I enjoy playing. I enjoy playing chess. So one thing I learned while studying the Empress Taytu and her influence or her involvement with Europe, she was playing chess, and them boys were playing checkers. Yeah, she was playing chess, and them boys were playing checkers. She, the Black Queen, was playing chess. All right, let me explain that. So she encountered that the British Gambit. Almost every major African nation has fell to the British Gambit. Okay, let me show you how she played it. So, because here's what people don't understand. Okay, Taitu wasn't fighting Italy. She was playing multiple games of chess with various nations. She was playing against Britain. Okay, one, France, Germany, and Italy all at one time, and she was winning. I had to tell you that. She was going up against Britain, France, Germany, and Italy all at once. She was playing again. She was playing chess, and them boys were playing checkers. Yeah, yeah. She's one West Africa says she's a true example of Black womanhood, queens and warriors for sure, for sure. Now, the British Gambit. This is something that the Great Britain is. They would try to establish influence through friendship. Hmm. They try to establish influence through friendship. How? Because Britain, they controlled Egypt to the north, Sudan to the west, because by that time Sudan has, as a nation, has basically crumbled in a sense. Kenya to the south, and Somalia. So Ethiopia was surrounded. So the British, they tried to approach it like this. They sent diplomatic missions. They sent missionaries, to spread the good word and everything. They offered trade agreements. That was the British Gambit. They wanted to infiltrate through friendship. They proposed technical assistance, request mutual defense treaties and everything. Um, but this was her counter. This was her response. Okay, this was her response. The queen refused to meet. She refused to meet with diplomats without Menelik being present. That's a queen move right there, because she knew they was good at dividing and conquering. That's the oldest imperialist trick. And so if they can negotiate with her separately, they'll play her against Menelik. Unity of command, unity of message. So she also demanded all agreements to be written in Amharic first, not in English, then translated Amharic, because they tricky. Why? Because of what happened with the Treaty of Wuchale. She wasn't letting that happen again. So she delayed negotiations until she gathered all the information. She sent spies to British territories. She wasn't playing with them. She was not playing with them. Sent spies to British territories, British embassies, British ports. She was sending them. And by the time she sat down to negotiate, she knew what they really wanted. She knew what they was about, what they were willing to give, what their alternative was, and how many people in the military was already there. So Britain never colonized Ethiopia. Okay. All right. Here we go. The French, of course. They tried to use, when Britain tried to use friendship, France tried to use economic penetration. They tried to be all economical with it. They tried to use money and influence, right? So she France they proposed building a railroad from Djibouti, which was a French colony at the time, to Addis Ababa. Why would why would they want somebody else's railroad to come to their capital? I told you the major reason why that she established Addis Ababa in the first place was for economic trade. She was good on that. She didn't need y'all to come in here to set up a railroad from Djibouti. So, that was their way of developing modern transportation and everything, economic development and whatnot, connection to the coast. They already had connection to the coast. They already had trade routes. They didn't need you. So, Taytu asked questions nobody else was willing to ask. Who is going to pay for this? Since you guys are offering, a railroad being built for in our area, who's paying for that? And then, so if Ethiopia is paying, they're about to get into debt with France. Sounds familiar, don't it? Mm-hmm. And then who controls this railroad? Because if France paying, they want something in return. And if France controls the railroad, they can shut it down at any time. Okay, and if France controls it, they want to control Ethiopia's imports and exports. It's about money. And if France controls the railroad, Ethiopia's economy depends on France's goodwill. Yeah. So then what happens when you want political concessions, or when you want some political assistance later? Yeah, what would happen? Because this is how colonialism and imperialism works. They build an infrastructure around your situation. They create dependency. Then they demand control as payment. Rinse, wash, and repeat. She saw this. The queen saw it immediately. So she told the French, build the railroad if you want, but we control the route. We set the tariffs. We decide who uses the railroad, and if you don't like it, don't build it. That's what that is. The French built it because they want to access the Ethiopian market, but it was on Ethiopia's terms, not France. So now, what happened is, chess move. So they started to develop an infrastructure, a modern infrastructure around Ethiopia. See what I'm saying? So, yeah. Then we had the Germans. Then we had the German military advisors. If the German military advisors, they had influence through military training, and they because remember, the scramble for Africa at this point in the late 1800s was live and in effect. So after Adwa, Germany wasn't directly trying to colonize Africa, so they offered to send military help. We'll train your soldiers. We'll give you new weapons. We'll help you defend against Italy and Britain. Menelik was interested. He wanted modern weapons and everything, but the queen, she was suspicious. Yeah, she was suspicious. She said, "What do they want in return?" Because nobody sends a military out here, all the way out here, because you know where Germany is, all the way out here for free. Military advisors lead to dependence on German weapons, German officers commanding Ethiopian troops, German intelligence on Ethiopian military capabilities, Germany having leverage over Ethiopia's defense. It was basically they was trying to come through the back door. Yeah, that's what they were trying to do. They was trying to, so her counter move, train our soldiers, yeah, but you don't command them. You don't tell them what to do. Mm-hmm. Because what happened, there's been many times where the other countries, the European countries, would actually not only train our soldiers, but then they would turn around and command them. Yeah, using them as what? Pawns. Mm-hmm. So over time they would start to go against the best interests of their own people. Yeah, yeah. So she said they can teach tactics, train officers, whatever, but they would not command Ethiopian troops, make military decisions, stay longer than agreed. They couldn't build German military bases, and you leave when we say leave. Not when German says when Ethiopia's not when Germany says they can go. It's when Ethiopia said they can go. Because most of the time some of these countries will stay out longer than they should, outwarm their welcome, right? So Germans agreed because they wanted they wanted a little influence in East Africa. Here's the thing: these boys are playing themselves. Why? Because they want to have a foothold in East Africa, not knowing they're overplaying their hand. They're pushing their pieces on the chessboard too far out. They're pushing it, and now you're exposed. So Germany never got control. The last one was the Italian deception. Of course, we know that Italy tried the Treaty of Wuchale. It was a scam because they, on one hand, as we mentioned before, in Amharic, it was saying that they was partners. They was in good relationship. But then when the Italians read it, it was saying that Ethiopia was under Italy. They was second to Italy. No, they're a sovereign nation. That's not how it goes. So she tore it up. Italy invaded, and Empress cut off their water supply and destroyed them at Adwa. So Italy was embarrassed. European colonization of Ethiopia stopped at that point. You see what I'm saying? And so this is what she saw. This is what she saw. This is what she noticed. Every European or European power used the same playbook. Step one, offer friendship. Step two, create dependency. Number three, demand political control as payment. And number four, if refused, they will use military force. Taytu recognized this pattern before it even started. She knew what it was. She treated every European power like a potential colonizer, as a potential enemy. Yeah, because they were, you know. She never trusted their friendship. She never believed their development rhetoric or talk or paperwork or none of that. Because she never accepted their terms without modification. She knew if you let them in, they'll take over. And these are facts. So she kept them at arm's distance, kept them at arm's length, used their technology, learned their expertise, traded with their merchants, and then rejected their control. So in 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 that famous framework, and that there's a picture. I gotta find that image of her. She's shown playing chess with a European diplomat. She's knocked over his chess pieces. She knocked over his chess pieces, defeated his strategy, and she knocked over his glass of water, cut off his life source. This political cartoon, I'm gonna have to find it and bring it back next time. This wasn't about the siege, but this was about every negotiation she had with Europe. She was 3 moves ahead. She was playing 4D chess with these boys. Europe move, let's be friends. She countered, what do you want? Europe moves, she said, we want to help you develop. Then she thought she put a move out there saying, who controls the development? Europe said, trust us. She said, no, we can't. Show me the contract in our language, and then we'll make the decision. So what does that teach us, though, fam? What did it teach us? Number one, to question everything. Matter of fact, you don't have to take my word for it. Read a few books. It was funny. About a few weeks ago, on TikTok, somebody saw a like a 15-second clip of a. You know how we get down. Our lives are long. It's like an hour and 30 minutes or whatever. And this person asked me, because it was talking about Nefertari. It was talking about Nefertari. There's nothing wrong with questioning everything, but he asked, where did I get my sources from? I told him, if you looked at the video, I showed there's books that we refer to. And also you should check out Dr. Ben, Dr. John Henry Clark, Francis Welsing, Drusilla Houston, many others. The person responded saying, where did they get their sources from? I'm done talking to you. I'm done talking to you. Sounds to me that you want me to spoon feed you everything. That's not how it goes. And on top of that, sounds like you want to argue with somebody. I ain't got time. It's cool to question everything, but read the room, know what's going on, right? It's just like asking if you was on a NBA or ESPN platform, and then you ask who's Kobe. I just told you the Kobe Bryant of Black history, and you asking me where they get the information from. No, never mind. But yeah, so back to that. Question everything, right? Read the contract yourself. Read the paperwork. Control everything. I'm having a discussion with my economics class. I do teach economics in high school, and I said money is the end result of it. Okay, money is not the entire knowledge or the totality of economics, right? It is the power or the maintaining of resources. Though the one who controls the resource controls the flow of money. So we got to control everything. Think 3 moves ahead. What seems good today may trap you tomorrow, right? And so strategic divinity. Okay, Taytu didn't just have political intelligence; she has spiritual discernment. It's okay to pray, right? It's okay. We should, right? Matter of fact, pray for me. Sure. She can see what others couldn't, not just with her eyes, but also with her spirit, right? Let's get it. So we talked so far. We talked about the forgotten missionary, the 4 marriages, Taytu versus Europe, and strategic divinity. Okay, faith in action. But before we get into that, we got to review. According to, because this was like a month ago. According to our last video, Ethiopia versus Europe, check it out. Which 2 emperors did we discuss? Okay. Taharka and Tut, Amenhotep III and Ramses II, Johannes IV, Menelik II, Theodoros, and Haile Selassie. And if you said Johannes and Menelik, if you got it right, you got an A for the day. So let's get it. Let's continue. Now, her faith in action. She was Christian by faith. We can't dodge that. What happens is in the African centered space, we tend to forget that some of our leaders weren't from, say, the African spiritual custom, which is fine. You see what I'm saying? That's fine. We can't just cut them off because they don't believe the same way we do. Because if we're not careful, we start sounding like imperialists ourselves. So in this situation, she was of the Ethiopian Orthodox Tawhid faith, and so her faith was part of who she was. It directly informed everything that she do. The Ethiopian Orthodox Tawhid Church, of course, dates back to the Christianization of the Kingdom of Aksum in 330 AD. And between, say, 38 to 46 million adherents in Ethiopia, members of the Ethiopian Orthodox Tawhid Church pray 7 times a day. And fasting is an important way for members to express their faith. They fast. I looked at their calendar. They fast a lot. Seriously. They fast on most Wednesdays and Fridays and other times of the year, such as Lent. So this wasn't just casual, Baptist Christianity in a sense. This was very disciplined. You see what I'm saying? Taytu prayed 7 times a day. She fasted rigorously. She studied scripture as her faith gave her more clarity. She could discern right from wrong without hesitation. It gave her spiritual authority. The clergy and the people saw her as God's agent or being used by God or God's vessel. gave her prophetic vision. She interpreted events through a biblical lens or worldview. She also had unshakable resolve, and she believed that she was on God's side. Let me see, who's that? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hey, King, first participation in your 2026 live. Yeah, this is the very first one. Yeah, this is shout out to Library Without Borders. Check. She is doing book reviews right now. I need to catch up. But yeah, we back. This is our very first live session for 2026. Welcome back. Yeah, I'm excited about this. I'm excited. So, but yeah, and also of course the Treaty of Wuchale. Really quick, in 1889, Menelik II, her husband, signed the Treaty of Wuchale um, with Italy. We talked about this before. The treaty was supposed to be a friendship and commerce agreement, but there was a problem. The Italian version made Ethiopia an Italian protectorate or subsidiary to Italy, while the Amharic version recognized Ethiopia's sovereignty and described the relationship as merely diplomatic partnership. She wasn't playing with that. She wasn't trying to hear none of that. So the Italians had deceived Ethiopia on purpose. They written two versions of the treaty. They're written two versions of it. Okay, the Amharic version. Okay, Ethiopia may consult Italy on foreign affairs, and the Italian version, Ethiopia must consult Italy. We basically, in other words, we control them. Now, bro. So when the empress discovered that, she was angry. She was heated. She tore up that paperwork, not metaphorically, literally tore it up. Think about it. Italian diplomats sitting across from her. Emperor Menelik don't know what to do. His wife is going in, tearing up paperwork. She picks up this treaty, reads the deception, rips it in half. It says Ethiopia is not for sale. The queen has spoken. Ethiopia is not for sale. And if Ethiopia will never be a protectorate or a subsidiary or second to anybody. If Italy wants Ethiopia, they'll have to come and take it by force. And she said, we will destroy them. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. She was not playing with these people. She was playing no games. Count Pietro Antonelli, the lead negotiator for Mark Menelik, is playing games on me by giving up his regal authority to a woman. Now, the woman was right. The queen was right. Ethiopia would never be a protectorate. And if Italy want it, they need to come and get it. Okay. So to which Taytu retorted, she responded, my womanliness and your my womanliness and your manliness will be tested on the battlefield. She said, we're gonna find out who's the real one. God, so she prepared for war. It wasn't just a physical war, this was a spiritual campaign, right? I told you this was a chess game. She already knew what it was. Empress Taytu was the first to motivate the hesitant emperor and other men to stand up against the Italians. She convinced the emperor to declare war against Italy, culminating in the 1896 Battle of Adwa. But before the battle, she did something important. The queen did something important. She mobilized the church first. She realized that, okay, this is not just a physical war. This was a spiritual battle. She called on the priest to bless the troops. She called on the monks to pray for victory. She called on the deacons to carry sacred relics into battle. This was strategic divinity. The Empress Taytu held a dominant position in determining the Ethiopian Orthodox Church's policy. Of course, there's been many times over the years where the church kind of went against the king and vice versa, but this time they was unified. Why? Because she understood this wasn't a political war, this was a spiritual one. Italy represented colonialism, the enslavement of African people. Italy also represented the Roman Catholic Church, a rival Christian tradition trying to convert Ethiopia, because there's been many times We discussed many times where that book at. Well, it's on the floor. We discussed many times where how the European nations would try to come, including the Roman Catholic Church, try to come into Ethiopia and say, yeah, y'all doing this all wrong. You need to do our brand of Christianity. They said, no, y'all can leave. So she saw the Roman Catholic Church as another problem. And she also saw that Italy represented modernity without balance, without ma'at. And on the other side, though, Ethiopia represented Africa's sovereignty, the Orthodox Christianity, the ancient faith, unchanged since the 4th century, sacred kingship, the Solomonic line, and the Ark of the Covenant. You know, it's still there. The guardians are there. The Ark is there. So Taytu framed the war as this. She said, "Will Ethiopia remain the land of the Trinity?" Yeah, that's a good question. Will Ethiopia remain the land of the Trinity, or will it become a colony of Rome? Wow. Will Ethiopia become the land of the Trinity or a colony of Rome? And so, and the people got together for this spiritual battle, and we forget most of our battles are spiritual, but yeah. And so we have the Battle of Adwa. Okay, it finally went down. March 1st, 1896, the Battle of Adwa. The Empress Taytu commanded her own battalion. But before we get to that, got a question. Before we get, y'all see, y'all knew I was going to do a question. Before we get to that, I got a question. For my music lovers, for those who love music, Afrobeat or reggae? Like and comment below. Let me know. Afrobeat or reggae? If you was on a road trip, okay? We're not talking about the decade or era, none of that. We're just talking about those two. Afrobeat or reggae. Like and comment below. Let's get it. And also, shout out to the Firmo fam. There's still a promo going on, 50% off. I have the link in the description. You can get glasses. You can order glasses online. Just use that code RJQE50, RJQE50. Matter of fact, I need to get me some more glasses. I need to get me some more. I need to get some more. But yeah, shout out to the fam. Firmo, FIRMOO. Check them out. Yeah, this is reggae's for the soul. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Okay, I hear you. But you know what? I didn't really get into reggae until like years later. And the thing is, reggae and Afrobeat, I think, kind of came to me at the same time back in like 2000, 2001. You know, so yeah, pretty cool. So, she wasn't there just for moral support. She commanded her own battalion of at least 5,000 soldiers and 600 on horseback. Shout out to Miss Blue. She said reggae. Okay, we got another one for reggae. Okay, all right. So she controlled 5,000 soldiers, 600 on horseback. Her battalion included female warriors who were escorted by men carrying red parasols to protect them from the sun. So let me slow down. So you two didn't. She wasn't just there for moral support. You understand? She led a battalion. You know, she wasn't just cheerleading on the sidelines or whatever, and it's all good. No, she led a group of warriors. She led soldiers, and she fought on the front line. All these people sending folks to war and all that, and not trying to go out there themselves. Yeah, she bravely fought on the front line, motivating any man that wanted to retreat. She also mobilized women, both as fighters and nurses, to the wounded soldiers. So the red parasols you see in the paintings of Adwa, I'm have a better picture next time. Those mark Taytu's personal unit, her women, her warriors, her spiritual army. Now we know about the sisters in Benin. We also know about the Magi. It's pretty cool to know that the Empress of Ethiopia had her own group, had her own woman group that was ready for battle. Pretty cool. So she led 500 soldiers. 500 soldiers guarded the empress and her entourage, and of about 100 women took care of preparing food for the soldiers. It was a logistical situation. Italy came all the way out there. They came all the way out there trying to throw hands and everything. You weren't ready. You did not have the structure. You didn't have the infrastructure behind you, right? And so Taytu was also the receiver and analyzer of intelligence information collected by spies, which historians characterize as crucial to Ethiopia's victory. Italy came to their house. These people knew Ethiopia. The Ethiopian people know Ethiopia. You just can't come in there in their backyard and not know what's going on. So she brought spies, and so at the end, Taytu was a military. She was a military commander, intelligence officer, logistics coordinator, morale booster, and a spiritual leader. She was all these things, and then she cut off their water supply. Yeah. You up here trying to do the most, and you need to use our water. How you gonna fight us and you using our water? Yeah. She commanded the operation to prevent the Italian military access to all sources of potable water. This strategy worked in favor of the emperor, and the Ethiopians prevailed. You can't be out there being disrespectful and using their water. It's like people going to somebody else's house, being all disrespectful, say, "Hey, go make me something to eat." What you doing? Matter of fact, the same thing is happening now with that. There's a new, of course, we know about there's a new dam that's being built right now. It has been built, right? The dam in Ethiopia has been built. Shout out to the family Ethiopia. And what happened is the Egyptian people, or the Egyptian, not the indigenous Egyptian people, but the politicians of Egypt, and some of the historians were talking mad trash. They were talking crazy and reckless to the people of Sudan and Ethiopia. Now they start cutting off their water supply. You forgot. I believe right now, Egypt has forgotten who their mother, who their grandmother is. So lessons have to be learned around here. For the last decade, your scientists, your archaeologists have been very disrespectful to the people of the South, saying that you didn't come from the South, but your water supply your water supply does. So Ethiopia start cutting that water supply off. Yeah. So now they're upset. So let's get back to it. So the Italians were trapped. The Italians were trapped in Mekele, a fortress, no food, no reinforcements, and now no water. And so I had to find the artwork of a siege of Mekele. Taytu is shown playing chess with a European diplomat. She knocked over both his pieces and his glass of water. So this was a spiritual warfare manifesting in in physical strategy. See what I'm saying? Water is life. Water is life. Cutting off water is cutting off somebody's life source. Taytu understood that. You don't need to kill your enemy if you can make staying there impossible. Yeah. So the Italians surrendered. And on March 1st, 1896, at the Battle of Adwa, Ethiopia achieved what no other African nation had done. They defeated a European colonial power in open battle. This triumph marked a turning point in the continent's history, serving as a testament to the resilience and military prowess of Ethiopian people under Queen Taytu's leadership. So let me get to that. Now, so here's the thing. After Adwa, okay, Menelik wanted to be diplomatic. He wanted to negotiate peace, take prisoners, establish relations. Taytu wanted total repudiation of Italian claims. She was not playing with them. Menelik, who often tried to answer, he tried to say yes to Mara Ishi Naga, found it useful to have his wife powerful enough to say absolutely not, Mb. Okay, she wasn't playing. She said to the people and issues he didn't want to personally refuse. Taytu became, in a sense, the bad cop of Ethiopian diplomacy. Menelik said maybe we can discuss. The queen said no, we not. This wasn't cruelty. This was clarity. She knew if Ethiopians showed any weakness, the Europeans will return and keep coming back. So she made sure this message was unmistakable. Ethiopia was not for sale, never to be colonized. Try again, and we will destroy you again. That's what she was saying. So, in this situation, the queen told them Italians no. And next week, what we're gonna do next week, we're gonna have another discussion. We're gonna have a part 2 to this. I know we're gonna get in with this, but I'm going to answer a few questions in a second. But if you want to learn more about Ethiopia, Kemet, and Kush, like and subscribe, because next week we're going to talk about her connections to the other queens of the Nile Valley and other queens of Africa. Yeah. And we talked a little bit about Pillar 1, Ethiopia, the source of sanctuary. Pillar 2, Kemet, the blueprint of sacred civilization. Number 3, Kush and Nubia. Number 4, the hidden code. We was on pillar number 1, which is Ethiopia, the source of sanctuary. Fam, welcome back. These are some of the books I recommend. An African History of Africa by Zainab Badawi. I intended on, I apologize, I intended on doing something with that book, but yeah, people like to hijack my time. I ain't got time for that, bro. The Orthodox Church of Ethiopia, A History by John Benz. Ethiopia, A History of Ethiopia by, let me see, what edition is this? That's the second edition. I have that by Harold Marcus and the Ethiopian Borderlands, right, by Richard Pankhurst. This is the book. We got a few more chapters to go. The Ethiopians in History by Richard Pankhurst. And this is my book, Crusades of Jihad in East Africa. Yeah, check it out. It is on Amazon. Get ready, because guess what I decided to do? Because shout out to Mama Kwete. Shout out to Mama Kwete at Pan African Bookstore. We're working on getting some books there, so that we will have books, physical books at the physical bookstore coming really soon. I'm very happy about that. And shout out to the Doc Shop in Fort Worth. But before I send them something, yeah, we getting a revised version. Because Brother Ferguson said, he said the book was short. And so, yeah, we're going to get the revised edition, The Crusade Jihad in East Africa and Untold History of Faith, Resistance, and Power. Yeah. We're gonna get into that. So, yes, the revised version, the revised edition to to the book. So yeah, we're gonna get into it. And also there's a couple things I'm doing this year, and goodness, a book club is coming up. And a couple of online courses. So yeah, Crusades of Jihad, that would be an online course, as well as Decoding the Symbols, a beginner's guide to Kemetic spiritual science. Yes, we are in the process of making online courses. That's what we're going to do. I am a teacher. I love to teach. And so we're going to have a book club, online courses coming really soon. And we got to get back into it. We got to get back into the esoteric knowledge. Shout out to Brother Mo. We're going to talk about the day boat really soon. Ra's journey across the sky, the Madjet, the bark of millions of years. We're going to get into that. And shout out to the Ujumbe members. Shout out to the fam. They joined the membership. Shout out to Sister Abina Scott, Brother Mo. And shout out to Brother Mo. He just he's not going to tell y'all, but I'm going to say it. He passed his test. He was going for sergeant, and so he has passed that exam, and we're very proud of him. Whenever you get an opportunity to level up, you should do that. And shout out to Sister Bina Scott, even though she's a veteran, she's came back ready to roll, ready to work. So I'm very happy about that. Join the membership. Why? Because membership has its privileges. And so, and yeah, they get all the new videos and all the new things first. And so, yeah, it says, shout out to Library Without Borders. I love to hear such grand stories where Africans defeated Europeans wannabe powers. Yeah, I do too. I do too. And we need to hear more of those stories. Okay. It's not just stories of, say, assassination attempts or whatever, destabilization. There have been victories. There have been victories. Okay. And so join the membership, check it out. All right. And I gotta check roll. I gotta check roll. If get ready, we're gonna check roll. And so shout out to Brother Fatah Muhammad, Evelyn Rose, Mandela Circle, Danilo Narain, The Leak, Pan Africa Bookstore. Um, oh, oh, I forgot. Check this out. Thanks to the membership, thanks to the Ujumbe leadership. Check this out. I will be able to register as an author at a book expo coming soon. Okay, thank you for your donations and everything. It allows me to participate and get active and get outside and promote the book, promote the information. So yes, yours truly is going to be out and about. I don't have the date yet, but I am in the process of registering to get the book out there. There's a book expo coming up. I know it's in February. I just don't know the date yet. But thank you leadership, thank you members for being awesome, for trusting me with this information. And we're gonna get out there and we're gonna make it happen. All right. But yeah, this book is pretty short. And so far, after revising that, so far, the revised and extended version is up to like 225 pages. Yeah, it's some other stuff we gotta talk about. Yeah. And so yeah, we're gonna get outside. We're gonna do some book expos. We're gonna have live book signings, and we're gonna have a good time. Yeah, no, thank you. I really appreciate it. But yeah, the alumni. Thank you alumni for coming. Let me see who else in here. Let me see. Let me check roll real quick. Um, and these guys just joined recently. They just subscribed. Navi, Nubian. Shout out to Nubian. Baba Kava. Shout out to Baba Kava and um, brother Tony Hawkins, Tony Muhammad. What happened is last December, I was on a interview panel discussion with our very own Baba Kaba. That was cool. Shout out to Noni Cafe, Library Without Borders, Miss Blue, Brother Ferguson, Sister Kiara, Zep Teppy Slim, and Solana Music, and the alumni. You guys have been rolling with me for the last few years. You guys have been patient. You guys, we had our ups and downs and everything. But yeah, we back in full effect. 2026, it's about to be on. We got a book club coming up. We got 2 online courses coming up. Yeah, it's about to be a thing. So today we talked about Empress Taytu Betul, the forgotten visionary, 4 marriages, Taytu versus Europe, strategic divinity. If you like the content, share it with somebody that may enjoy it. Don't just give it to some random person. Okay, share or share it on your social media of choice. Now we talked about Empress Taytu Betul, unsung spiritual architect of Ethiopian modernity, but we're not done. We're gonna talk about the Empress and Ethiopian sovereignty and her connection with the other African queens. That's part 2. I couldn't do that all at one time because Brother Ferguson told me to slow down. I'm trying to get better at that. Because my mind be going 1,000 miles an hour, and we trying to enjoy our weekend, right? But yeah, we're gonna get into that next week. So, yeah, what's going on, Brother Mo? Welcome back. Yeah, shout out to Brother Mo. He has been something else, and he has passed that test. He's about to level up in his career. You know, I'm proud of him. So he's back in full effect, and get ready. He's gonna ask all the questions. Man, I said nobody gonna ask questions, but the Mo will. I tell you that. So, but I'm glad that we're back in full effect. I did have to take that month off, and for those who missed it, it is right in the middle of the video where I discuss how people decide to waste my time. I ain't for that. We got things to do. Thank you, Sister Linda. Shout out to Auntie Linda. Glad you're back. Thank you for teaching. Yeah, and give my regards to Baba Yakia. We're gonna bring it back. Oh, we gotta bring back the Kemetic Nation. We gotta bring back Rock with Me Nation and Baba Yakia. We got some things to do. We got some things to do. Yeah. Your turn. Yeah, we got work to do. We got I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna tell you this. This is thanks to you guys. Okay, and I'm really getting emotional behind it. But thanks to you guys, this podcast is now global. We got people in Germany, Saudi Arabia, in Brazil listen to us regularly. Okay. And not only that, we're on multiple platforms. We're on Apple, we're on iHeart Music, we're on Pandora. We're not just on this space on YouTube. We're everywhere. Thanks to you guys. And so we have some things to do with that. We're going to get into the education space. We're in the process of making courses. We have 2 courses lined up, and then for those, I'm gonna tell you this: for those who want to teach African history, we're in the process of doing something for that also. Yeah, I can't do this by myself. So, um, we're gonna get some serious teachers and scholars in the mix so we can bring this forward. Okay, so we're in the process of really making this into a major program, into a major, dare I say, company. All right. So before we go, are there any questions before I turn you loose? Okay, because in Texas it is cold all of a sudden. Goodness. Are there any questions? Are there any questions or concerns? I really appreciate it. Don't forget to hit the like button and share it and all the things. But we have some things. Oh, let me get back to it. Let me go back to it. I'm proud of this. I'm not gonna lie to you. Um, the new revised version of the Crusades and Jihad that is coming out. It's coming out really soon. Um, it's gonna be a thing. And decoding the symbols. The ebook is out now, but yeah, for those who want the physical version, that's coming out real soon too. So shout out to the fam for supporting, and we'll be doing book expos and book signings and all that. So this is King Cam Ujumbe podcast, Ujumbe means message. And today's message is, let me go on back to it. Empress Taytu Betul, unsung spiritual architect of Ethiopian modernity. Don't forget, we're going next week. We got a part 2. This is Brother Mo. See, he playing. So our government is pushing things that we don't quite understand and putting lingo into effect that folks don't understand well. Yeah. I agree. And yeah, we do have to be on one accord, bro. Yeah. So much love to the fam. And if there's nothing else, I will listen to King Cam Ujumbe podcast, and I will talk to you guys later. All right.